There is an old saying in Igbo land. When a man runs faster than his destiny, something will chase him back. In the restless heart of Lagos, where skyscrapers pierce humid skies and ambition breathes louder than oxygen, there lived a young man named Chisom Eze. Chisom was not born poor, but he was born impatient. His father owned a modest electronics repair shop in Asaba. Honest income, honest sweat, honest sleep. But before I continue this epic journey, please follow, subscribe, like, share, and comment. This keeps me encouraged to bring you more tales from the motherland. Also, do let me know where you're watching from. I would like to know which part of the world my amazing friends are watching from. Are you ready? Oh yeah, let's enjoy the story. Chisom hated honest sleep. He hated watching his father count crumpled naira at night while politicians' sons sprayed bundles in clubs every December. He hated hearing, "Be patient, your time will come." He didn't want his time to come, he wanted to take it. At 22, he left Asaba with one suitcase, 48,000 naira in savings, and a heart burning with comparison. Lagos did not welcome him with open arms. It tested him. He stayed in a one-room apartment in Ajegunle with 2 other boys, shared mattress, shared generator fuel, shared frustration. He tried legitimate hustle, POS business, crypto trading, car sales brokerage. Nothing exploded, nothing went viral, nothing turned him into what he wanted to be, a Lagos big man. Then one Friday night, everything shifted. He followed a friend to a lounge in Lekki Phase 1. That was where he saw him, Tunde TK Kolawole. Mid-30s, calm voice, luxury watch, no noise, no oversharing. The kind of man who didn't chase attention, attention chased him. TK noticed the way Chisom watched the room. Hungry, not drunk, hungry. "You are not here to party," TK said quietly. Chisom smiled. "I'm here to learn." TK laughed softly. Good answer. 2 weeks later, Chisom was sitting inside a glass-walled apartment overlooking the Atlantic, the kind of place Instagram influencers pretend to own. TK poured him a drink. "There are 2 Lagoses," TK said. "The Lagos they show you and the Lagos that runs everything." Chisom leaned forward. "What do you do?" TK's eyes held his for a long second. "I move numbers." That was how it began. The operation was simple. Not armed robbery, not Yahoo scams. This was corporate manipulation. Access, influence, inside connections, government contractors, inflated invoices, digital diversions, silent siphoning. Tiny percentages from billion naira deals. "Rich people steal big," TK said. "We just redirect." The first job Chisom handled was minor. He created a shadow consulting company, signed documents, moved 2.3 million naira. His heart nearly exploded. He expected sirens, police, disaster. Nothing happened. The second job was 18 million naira, then 18 million naira, then 42 million naira. Money began to obey him. Within 8 months, new Mercedes C300, apartment in Lekki, designer wardrobe, flights to Abuja and Ghana, women who called him boss. He returned to Asaba for Christmas in convoy, sprayed money at parties. Former classmates stared, all teachers whispered. His father said nothing, but his eyes were heavy. "Son," his father asked quietly that night, "is this clean?" Chisom laughed. "Daddy, you think small. This is Lagos." The old man didn't argue. He only said one sentence. "Money that arrives without sweat, leaves without warning." Chisom ignored it. The dream started 3 months later. At first, subtle. He would find himself standing alone in an empty boardroom. Long table, endless chairs, darkness beyond the glass windows. At the head of the table sat a faceless man in a black suit. No eyes, no mouth, just smooth darkness. "You signed," the voice echoed. Chisom would wake up sweating. He blamed stress, increased gym sessions, increased alcohol, increased distractions. But wealth does not silence conscience. It only buries it temporarily. Then came the contract, the biggest one yet. 480 million naira government infrastructure diversion. If it worked, Chisom would never worry again. He would be set for life. TK was cautious. This one touches powerful families, TK warned. Chisom smiled. I'm ready. The transfer happened on a Thursday night. By Friday morning, 117 million naira sat in Chisom's offshore structure. He stood in his penthouse bathroom, staring at his reflection. I made it, he whispered. But the reflection did not smile. It blinked slower than he did. Chisom stepped back. His chest tightened.
That night, the dream changed. He was in the boardroom again. But this time, the faceless man stood behind him, close. You benefited, the voice said. Chisom tried to turn. He could not move. Payment is balance. He woke up screaming. Reality began collapsing quietly. A senior government official connected to the contract suffered a sudden stroke. Another director was arrested. An investigation began. Names were being whispered. TK went underground. Phones went silent. Accounts froze. Chisom tried accessing funds, restricted. He tried calling insiders, unreachable. Then something worse happened. His body began reacting. Fatigue, nosebleeds, skin dryness that would not heal. Doctors ran tests. Everything is normal, they said. But he felt hollow, like something essential was thinning. One night during a power outage, he lit a candle. He walked past the wall and froze. There was no shadow behind him, only empty light. Panic is a different kind of hunger. Chisom locked himself indoors for 2 days. No music, no distractions, only silence. And inside silence, he heard it clearly. You signed. He searched online for spiritual deliverance, visited flashy prophets in Lekki, sowed seeds. Nothing changed. The dreams intensified. The faceless figure now closer each night. You cannot eat from the table of wolves and expect the lambs sleep. Finally, desperation drove him home, back to Asaba. He arrived unannounced. His father opened the door, stared. You look lighter, the old man said. Chisom forced a smile. But when he stepped into the living room light, there was still no shadow. His father saw it, and for the first time, fear entered the old man's eyes. That night, as generator noise hummed outside, Chisom confessed everything. The contracts, the diversions, the offshore accounts, the greed. His father listened quietly. When Chisom finished, silence filled the room. Then the old man said something that chilled him. In our tradition, a man's shadow represents his spiritual weight. If it fades, something is claiming ownership. Chisom swallowed. What do I do? His father stood slowly. You must return what is not yours and accept what follows. Chisom's voice trembled. What if I lose everything? His father's reply was calm. Better to lose money than to lose yourself. That night, the dream returned, but this time, the faceless figure placed a contract on the table. Chisom looked down. His own signature stared back at him. The faceless figure leaned close and whispered, "Next installment due. The most dangerous debt is the one you cannot see." Chisom did not sleep the night after his confession. The generator had gone silent. The compound in Asaba was swallowed in darkness. But even in darkness, he felt watched. At 2:17 a.m., he opened his eyes. He was not alone. At the far corner of the wall, where the wall met the ceiling, something darker than the night itself stood still, not moving, not breathing, watching. He shut his eyes tightly. When he opened them again, it was gone, but he knew something had shifted. The next morning, his father did something unexpected. He did not shout, he did not curse him. He said, "We are going to see someone." They drove quietly through the outskirts of Asaba to a modest compound near the riverbanks. Not a shrine, not a flashy deliverance center. A small prayer house run by an elderly man named Pastor Nnamdi. Pastor Nnamdi did not look impressed by Chisom's designer sneakers. He looked directly at him and said, "You have eaten food that was not meant for you." That night, the dream changed. He was in the boardroom again, but this time the faceless man stood behind him, close. "You benefited," the voice said. Chisom tried to turn. He could not move. "Payment is balance." He woke up screaming. Reality began collapsing quietly. A senior government official connected to the contract suffered a sudden stroke. Another director was arrested. An investigation began. Names were being whispered. TK went underground. Phones went silent. Accounts froze. Chisom tried accessing funds, restricted. He tried calling insiders, unreachable. Then something worse happened. His body That evening, while sitting alone in his father's compound, he noticed something again. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the yard. His father's shadow stretched firm and clear across the ground. Chisom stepped into the sunlight. Nothing followed him, just light. He felt naked, exposed in a way money could not cover. The physical symptoms worsened. Nosebleeds became frequent. His joints ached as if he were aging rapidly. His appetite vanished. Doctors in Asaba ran tests again. Stress, they said. But stress does not erase shadows. One night, the dream returned, but no longer as a boardroom. This time, he stood inside a vast marketplace. Empty stalls, broken umbrellas, silence. In the center stood a wooden scale. On one side, stacks of cash. On the other, a beating human heart. The faceless figure appeared behind the scale. "You chose this," it said, placing more money on the scale. The heart began to crack. Chisom tried to scream. He woke up coughing blood. Panic no longer felt dramatic. It felt real. He called TK. The line connected. For the first time in weeks, TK's voice was different. Thin, exhausted. "Are you experiencing strange things?" TK asked quietly. Chisom's heart pounded. "What do you mean?" "Dreams, health issues, loss." Silence stretched between them. Then TK whispered, "I went to someone. He told me that some contracts carry spiritual witnesses. Powerful men don't just protect money with lawyers." The line went dead. That was the last time Chisom heard TK's voice. 3 days later, news broke. TK had been found unconscious in his apartment. Stroke, age 37. Fear matured into clarity. Chisom realized something terrifying. This was not random. It was collection. Not police collection, spiritual collection. Every inflated contract carried real people displaced. Abandoned projects meant unpaid workers. Unfinished roads meant accidents. Diversions meant hospital equipment never delivered. The money had weight, and weight demands balance. He returned to Pastor Nnamdi. "I will return it," Chisom said. The old man studied him. "All of it, as much as I can." "And prison?" Chisom swallowed. "If it comes." For the first time, the pastor nodded with approval. "Then you may recover what is fading." The process began quietly. Chisom liquidated assets, sold the Mercedes, sold luxury watches, transferred millions anonymously back into affected contractor accounts, sent evidence to investigative bodies through legal intermediaries. Each transfer felt like cutting flesh. But something strange happened. After the first major restitution payment, he stood under a streetlight at night, and for a brief second, a faint outline appeared behind him. A shadow. Weak, but present. The investigation eventually reached him. He was summoned, questioned, interrogated. His lawyer advised denial, but he remembered the scale in the dream. He confessed partial involvement, cooperated, provided information, reduced his legal exposure, but did not escape consequences entirely. Assets seized, reputation destroyed. Social media turned ruthless. Fraud boy, fake big man, another Lagos scammer. Humiliation burned deeper than poverty ever had. Then the final confrontation came. One night, back in Asaba, the dream returned for what felt like the last time. The marketplace, the scale. But this time, there was no money, only the cracked heart. The faceless figure stepped closer than ever before. "You still owe," it said. Chisom trembled. "I returned it." Money is not the only debt. The scale shifted. On one side appeared broken families. On the other, his silence. He understood. He had to do more than return funds. He had to repair impact. The next morning, he made a decision that shocked everyone. He publicly renounced the lifestyle, recorded a video confession, not dramatic, not defensive, honest. He explained how corporate fraud works, how young men are recruited, how easy money seduces. He warned them. The video spread across Lagos and beyond. Some mocked him, some called him foolish, but some listened. Young men messaged him privately. "Bro, I was about to enter this. You saved me." For the first time in years, Chisom felt something real. Purpose. Weeks passed. His health improved gradually. The nosebleed stopped. Energy returned. And one evening, standing at sunset near the River Niger in Asaba, he looked down. His shadow stretched long and solid across the sand. He exhaled deeply. But redemption was not complete, because wealth lost leaves emptiness, and emptiness must be filled carefully. He had returned the money. He had confessed, he had cooperated, but he still had to rebuild his life from zero. No glamour, no applause, just discipline. And discipline is slower than greed. That night, he slept without dreams for the first time in months. No faceless figure, no marketplace, no skills, only silence. But silence now felt peaceful, not threatening.
Redemption is not a moment. It is a daily decision. When the investigation finally concluded, Chisom did not escape untouched. He avoided prison through cooperation and restitution, but he was permanently marked. Financial monitoring, travel restrictions for a period, public disgrace. In Lagos, reputation travels faster than truth. In Lagos, doors that once opened silently now stayed shut. No more VIP lounges, no more exclusive meetings. Former friends crossed streets to avoid greeting him. The same men who once called him chairman now called him example. But this time, the word carried a different meaning. He moved back to Asaba permanently. No penthouse, no convoy. just his father's compound and a small rented office near the motor park. He started again. Legitimate logistics coordination, small contracts, transparent accounting. The first month, he made less than he used to spend on a single dinner in Lekki. It stung, but it was clean. And clean money has a different weight. It sits lightly in the pocket and lightly in the soul. The real battle was internal. Greed does not disappear, it whispers. When he saw former associates still flaunting wealth online, a voice would say, "You could have still been there." When he watched young boys in Asaba glorifying fast money, another voice would say, "You know how to win that game." Temptation did not vanish with confession, it only changed strategy. One afternoon, a former contact visited him quietly. "There's a new structure," the man said. "More secure. No paper trails. You're experienced. We can rebuild you." The offer was attractive. Clean slate, high returns, low visibility. For a moment, just a moment, the old hunger flickered. He imagined the car, the penthouse, the admiration. Then he remembered the marketplace, the scale, the cracked hat, and most of all, the empty wall where his shadow once refused to stand. He looked at the man and said calmly, "No." That no was heavier than any money he had ever moved. Months passed, slow growth, small wins. Chisom began mentoring young men informally at first, then formally. Weekend sessions in his modest office. He explained how corporate diversions happen, how shell companies are built, how easy it is to cross lines gradually, how spiritual debt accumulates quietly. He did not preach, he told the truth, and truth carries weight. Some boys laughed, some rolled their eyes, but some listened the way he once listened to TK, hungry. He made sure their hunger was redirected. Build skill, he would say, not shortcuts. Meanwhile, news surfaced. TK never fully recovered. Partial paralysis, speech impairment. His empire dissolved. Those who once praised him disappeared. Chisom visited him once in Lagos, in a quiet rehabilitation center in Lagos. TK's eyes filled with tears when he saw him. Neither spoke much. Words were unnecessary. Some prices are visible, some are permanent. One evening, sitting by the river Niger in Asaba, Chisom's father joined him. "You are lighter now," the old man said. Chisom smiled faintly. "I lost everything." His father shook his head. "No, you lost illusion." Silence settled between them. Then the old man added, "Do you know why slow money lasts?" Chisom looked at him. "Because your spirit grows at the same speed as your wealth. When they grow together, they balance." Chisom understood now what he once mocked. Balance. The scale from his dreams had not been symbolic, it had been instructional. Years passed. His company expanded modestly, not explosively, steadily. Transparent partnerships, documented contracts, young graduates trained under him. He paid taxes, something he once saw as foolish. He slept deeply, something he thought was guaranteed. Occasionally, someone would whisper about his past, but gradually another narrative formed. He made mistakes, but he corrected them. He warns others. Redemption does not erase history. It transforms it into instruction. One night, almost 3 years after the worst season of his life, he had a dream again. He stood in the same marketplace, but this time it was alive. Vendors shouting, children running, life everywhere. The scale stood in the center, balanced. The faceless figure appeared one final time, but now it was not dark. Its features were faintly visible. Not a demon, not a monster, just a reflection of himself. It said, "You understand." Chisom nodded. "I do." He woke up calmly. No sweat, no fear. He walked to the bathroom mirror, looked at his reflection. It moved with him perfectly. He stepped outside into the early morning sun. His shadow stretched long and firm across the compound, solid, present, owned. He closed his eyes and whispered, "Never again." Today,
When young men approach him asking how to get rich fast, he tells them this: there are two contracts in life, the one you sign with your hands and the one you sign with your character. If they don't match, one will collect. He does not glamorize poverty. He does not romanticize struggle. He teaches strategy, discipline, skill acquisition, ethical ambition. Because ambition itself is not evil. Unbalanced ambition is. In the restless heart of Lagos, towers still rise, deals still happen, shortcuts still tempt. But somewhere in Asaba, a man who once outran his destiny now walks beside it, slowly, intentionally, with weight restored. There is an old saying: when a man loses his shadow, he must stand still until it returns. Chisom stood still. He paid, he rebuilt, and he learned something many never live long enough to understand. Fast money is loud, clean money is quiet, but peace is priceless. Please don't forget to click subscribe, follow, like, share, and comment to see more interesting videos of mine. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.